Sup, children? We now return to My Little Pony.
Damn, I've been waiting for my friend Hefe the Chicken for hours. When's he gonna be here? Oh shit, what up, Hefe?
Not good, friend. It appears I've been cooked and roasted.
Damn! I can do this. I can give you fucking CPR.
It's not my head.
I can't live without my friend. Goodbye, cruel world.
Please be advised, the following video contains spoilers for pretty much all of Gotham. So, yeah, you know, if you haven't seen it yet, I invite you to come back later, if you want. Otherwise, enjoy the show. Okay, so I realise this video is long overdue, and I really want to apologise to Gotham fans. I realise I've been leaving you in the dark a little bit. But I'm finally going to talk a little bit about Gotham Season 5 now that I've seen the first 4 episodes. I realise that by the time this uploads, it will probably be 5 episodes, so let me just say I'm not fully caught up. So if there's some random twist in the new episode that is very integral to how I'm feeling right now, then just keep it to yourselves. I'll let you know when I've seen it in the community tab. Well, anyway, Season 5 has come along, and I have to say, it's very, very good. I am enjoying it. It's everything I've come to expect from Gotham. However, I don't feel we've had that episode yet, if you know what I mean. We haven't had that one that blows away my expectations and makes me go, whoa, this is absolutely sensational. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still some really, really good television, and as I say, it's everything we've come to expect from Gotham. However, it just hasn't gotten off to the big bang that, say, Season 2 started off with. And I realise that's quite a comparison, because I think Season 2 has some of the best opening episodes of any TV series, and I guess it might be unfair to compare the opener that this is to one with, you know, fan favourite Jerome Valeska running around. However, I will say, as the final season, I feel like we're already starting to round off character arcs really nicely. We've had some glimpses of what's to come from these characters, and we've already had some, you know, pretty good twists and turns and everything. I think the first 2 episodes were a bit of a slow burn, but episodes 3 and 4 were a little more interesting, a little more to really talk about. It's not that they're bad or anything, it's not like they're boring, it's not like they're just run-of-the-mill Gotham. I mean, I think the No Man's Land, Gotham, has set a really good atmosphere for this series. It's got much more of, as I say, a survival aspect to it, a much more of a heightened circumstance, higher stakes scenario than we've ever really seen in Gotham, because now there's like it's a definite difference of a power balance, if you understand what I'm saying here. But I feel like in the midst of all this, the character arcs are represented at some of their best. We've got the ongoing sort of frenemy relationship between Penguin and Kean-Gordon, where they're constantly kind of going between rivals and working together, and rivals and working together. And there are some really satisfying moments when they sort of team up. Those are always some of my favourite moments in Gotham, are the team-ups. There's the one thing I was mainly most concerned about was Edward Nygma's storyline, because they seem to be retreading a lot of the old ground in the first 3 episodes, with Nygma basically trying to figure out, you know, his split personality and everything. And he's just kind of waking up in all these areas, and he can't really keep track of what he's doing anymore. I thought, this is okay, but we've seen it all before, and he's very isolated off from the main cast. However, in the 4th episode, they definitely gave him something to do, with a really great twist involving him being the guy that blew up the refuge building. It was a really good bait and switch from Victor Zsasz, who, I won't lie, I really believed he did it, just as much as the other characters did. So it's nice to see they're really good at doing these twists, and I can't wait to see what's going to happen to Riddler and where he's going to go with this. I really hope he re-embraces his Riddler persona once again, a bit like in Season 3, and I think we'll get there. As for Barbara Kean, I won't lie, her story has taken actually a really interesting direction this time, which is great, because I felt like her place in Series 4 was a bit redundant. In this series, she's kind of a lot more of the gang boss thing again. They're not doing the whole mystical powers like they did in Season 4. However, it's quite interesting to see her go from kind of evil to morally grey now. But it's interesting to see how Kean-Gordon responds to this too. They're sort of growing kind of a bit of a bond again, which is a kind of echoes back to season 1, and I guess they might be doing this in a bid to redeem Barbara so that, you know, Jim would actually have a reason to name his daughter Barbara. Unless, maybe, I mean, we've never really pondered this. What if she's not Jim Gordon's biological daughter, but she's actually the, you know, maybe in this universe she's Barbara Keane's daughter, and maybe Barbara Keane gets killed and Jim Gordon takes her daughter in, and maybe Barbara Keane names her daughter after herself. A possibility, yes. I just think it's a bit strange with, even though they're sort of growing back together in a way, it would still be a little strange to name your daughter after a murderous sociopath. But then there's another weird thing, is the fact that Jim Gordon actually appears to be accepting Barbara Keane back into his life. And it really goes down an unexpected road when the two start making out at the end of episode 4. Now that was a twist I didn't see coming. I never thought Jim Gordon would actually take her back, but at the same time, the guy's at the end of his limits, you know, he's at the end of his tether. He's got more pressure on him than he's ever had before, so it's a really interesting thing to see. Maybe is he cracking, or maybe is this the right thing? Part of me kinda hopes that she does get a redemption story, but it's gonna have to be a hell of a redemption story. It's just, I still think Barbara Keane's evolution is perhaps a bit unnatural, considering she was full-blown insane, a bit like Jerome in season 2, and now she's more just a gang boss. It doesn't feel truly organic, and I feel like Barbara Keane is the one thing that kind of stands out for the wrong reasons in this series. I think she's almost certainly gonna die, though. Like, almost certainly. I mean, she's such a major character in this, but she's not really a part of the Batman mythos, so I don't know. Maybe, I mean, it's a different universe and all. As well as that, there's Selina, who's had a really interesting arc this season. I thought it was a very, very dark point for the season when she was actually suicidal about what Jeremiah had done to her. And it really sets up her motivations for going up against Jeremiah really, really well in this season, when she does finally get her mobility back. And I think the reason being Poison Ivy's, you know, sort of her science and powers and stuff being the reason she gets her mobility back is smart, and it kind of makes sense, because I believe that Cat and Ivy are supposed to have quite a complex sort of frenemies relationship in most of the source material anyway. And it's interesting because with this sort of healing has come another sort of personality aspect to Selina. She's a lot more murderous than she's ever been before. And I think this is going to make for a really interesting dynamic with her and Bruce, hopefully leading to the possibility that maybe we get a villainous Catwoman that's not just, you know, I mean, like, Selina has always been kind of morally grey in this, but she's definitely more of a protagonist than an antagonist. It'll be really interesting to see Batman and Catwoman go up against each other for maybe, like, the finale or something, both suited up. However, I feel like these two know each other far too well to just be like, oh yeah, that's Batman and that's Catwoman, but I don't know who they are. Like, one is, you know, completely cat-themed and referred to herself as Cat. Then again, that said, I mean, Batman does tend to know Catwoman's identity to a degree anyway in most source material, so I don't know, it depends. You pick your poison when it comes to source material, really. At the end of the day, if this is my hill to die on, it's my hill to die on. Bye-bye credibility. Selina's showdown with Echo is also really interesting, and as I'd hoped, I would consider Echo to be the best live-action Harley Quinn. Again, though, by default, there's really not much competition there. She's not 100% what I have in mind when it comes to Harley Quinn, I won't lie. I understand that she's kind of got kind of a lobotomy thing going on, because, like, Jeremiah, put kind of a bullet in her skull, which is kind of, you know, given her brain damage and everything. So she's kind of a more sort of a sickly version of Harley Quinn than we know usually, but I'll say this, I feel like the performance is pretty good. I find it interesting, though, because she seems to act much more like Jerome than, say, Jeremiah, because, like, she does the whole Russian roulette shtick that Jerome did in season 2. And I gotta say, that nothing is quite as intense in regards to Russian roulette in Gotham as the whole Jerome fearlessly playing Russian roulette with himself in season 2. But I think that's partly down to, that's just a testament to how good Cameron Monaghan's acting abilities were in that role. But I really do appreciate that she's much closer, much more in line with the classic Harley Quinn that we know and love. And as well as that, like, her origin is pretty ambiguous, and they're having the respect to not call her Harley Quinn, because obviously there are going to be some differences that go with this character, so it's more of a means to an end in a way. What I'm still lukewarm about is Jeremiah Valeska. I'm sorry, I'm still not sold on him yet. And I'm sure I will be, because I know that there's a lot, gonna happen with him. I'm sure that, well, if you're watching this, you're pretty aware you're gonna get spoilers. He gets killed in episode 4 by Selina, rather abruptly. And it's quite a shocking moment. I'm sure that he's gonna get resurrected, and he's going to be much more the Joker that we know and love, cackling maniac and all that. I mean, we've seen him in the trailers and stuff, and he's laughing and he's having more fun in the way that the Joker does. I still am not completely on board with the whole twist with it being Jerome's evil twin turns out to be the Joker, when I feel like Jerome captured the role perfectly already, and it's kind of a cop-out, if you know what I mean. I'm still not on board with this. I mean, I'm really questioning at this point, what is the point of Jeremiah Valeska? I understand that they killed off Jerome because they kind of wanted to reboot the character, give him perhaps a little more of a long-winded sort of story of him gradually growing into the Joker, as opposed to this kind of the flip switch that they kind of went for with Jerome. But when you think about it, it is just the same story. Jerome started off as a butter wouldn't melt in his mouth kid that could do no wrong, but then it turns out he has inner insanity and inner demons that get the better of him, and then he goes nuts, and then he gets stabbed, and then he dies, and then he gets resurrected, and the exact same thing is happening with Jeremiah. He starts as that butter wouldn't melt in his mouth kid. He has a bad day, what with the puff of smoke and everything. He goes kinda nuts. I mean, like, I get that they're trying to say, oh yeah, he's completely sane, he's just evil and stuff, but I still don't quite buy that. And then, like, the whole thing was they tried to say, oh yeah, no, he was already crazy from the very start, it was just within him, and it just needed to come out and everything. And that's a strange thing, because, like, that was the whole thing with season 4, was like Jeremiah was established as the real deal, whereas Jerome was more of a phony that was just created by Jeremiah. Because Jeremiah was the sick one from the very start, and yet Echo refers to Jeremiah's craziness as the gift of Jerome and everything. So it's weird. It's like, what order is this going in, really? Like, are we retconning things here? But, I mean, that can just be, like, dialogue and stuff. She's crazy at the end of the day. But what I will say is I'm just feeling like the whole Jeremiah twist was a bit of a waste of time, and I would have been much more satisfied if we'd seen Jerome kind of go under a character evolution where he perhaps calms down for a little bit, is a bit less of a cackling maniac and gets his act together, and then segues into this sort of storyline. But I think maybe they didn't want to keep doing the face ripped off makeup or something. I mean, I'll say this, when you see a lot of promo pictures of Jeremiah in this season, he looks exactly as I always imagined the Joker would look, and that's fantastic. I'm so grateful for that. I think what I'm most grateful for, though, is that I finally feel like the Joker and Harley Quinn, while they haven't spent much screen time together, have finally been done justice in this version of the characters. Jeremiah's behaviour around Echo is kind of unpredictable in a way. Like, the first time you see him together, he grabs her by the throat, but then he sort of starts dancing with her and stuff. It's a very Batman the Animated Series sort of take on the Joker and Harley Quinn, and I'm so grateful for that after the DCEU utterly failed to give us that. So honestly, in a lot of ways, I am getting what I wanted out of this, but I can't help but feel it's like someone else did this first, like, we're calling this guy the Joker, possibly, but someone else did it first, and that just kind of bugs me a bit. But at the same time, it has been announced that Cameron Monaghan will be playing a third role, and I'm kind of praying it's not another Valeska brother. Like, I love the Valeska name and everything, but the thing is that it's one thing to have Jerome suddenly hunting for this brother that's never been mentioned for 3 seasons, and then establish that, okay, that's fine, these things do slip up, but then to introduce a third twin brother that neither of them have talked about over the course of 4 or 5 seasons, I can't help but with, we're maybe getting a bit far-fetched with this. I'm hoping that if there really is a third role for Cameron Monaghan, that this will be the clone of Jerome, and that maybe Jeremiah was portrayed in this sort of way that's a bit more held back than Jerome was, in a bid to sort of, raise kind of some hope that Jerome will return. I mean, I am not going to lie, I do hope he returns. But if he's gonna, they're keeping it very well under wraps, I'll give him that. I don't think it's going to be the clone, though, but I can't tell. There's been talk of Jeremiah making one final transformation that's a very Jokery one. So I think we're really yet to see the best to come for Jeremiah. I don't know. As he'd say, we ain't seen nothing yet. I guess this is really starting to sound very lukewarm, but I have to say I'm loving this season so far, just as I loved Season 4, Season 1, Season 2, and the first half of Season 3 anyway. It's what we've come to expect from Gotham. It's a very exciting start, it's very enjoyable. However, we haven't had that seals the deal episode yet. We haven't had the showstopper. But maybe they're going to be in the latter half this time. So that will be exciting anyway. We got big things to come anyway. I'm really looking forward to this. So what are you thinking of Season 5 so far? Comment below, let's discuss this whole thing. I think I'm hoping that they can bow out with grace without this feeling too rushed. I understand there's going to be time jumps and everything. And I'm really hoping that Dave Mazouz does get the chance to wear the Batsuit and maybe age him up through makeup and maybe like a muscle suit or something. But I'm not counting on it. But I'm hoping. I've got my fingers crossed. I think I've got some idea of how this will all kind of play out. I understand that. I'm quite surprised that Cameron Monaghan is listed for the finale. I thought he'd get his episode and kind of be done like he usually is. But I hope we see him fully Jokered up. I've had a number of comments saying that IMDb lists him as the Joker properly this time. You never truly know with IMDb because it is something that can be edited. But yeah, I think Gotham is the one part of Batman right now that is not consistently letting me down, and I'm still so grateful for that, and I'm going to be so sad to see it go. Alright, so yeah, if you enjoyed this video and you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. If you're not new here, well, thanks for coming back. I really hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope to have more Gotham, DC Comics, and Batman content to come soon. Thanks for watching, guys.